You've been told that getting rich is a brutal struggle, that wealth belongs only to the lucky, the ruthless, or the chosen few. But what if I revealed the exact opposite? What if the real reason most people never build true wealth isn't bad luck? It's because they make it far too complicated. Machiavelli warned that men lose power not through weakness, but through confusion. The road to riches isn't chaos, it's clarity. It's not luck, it's leverage. And buried deep within Machiavelli's timeless wisdom lies a hidden truth about power and wealth. One that, once understood, makes getting rich seem effortless. Not because the world suddenly grows kind, but because most remain asleep while the few quietly master the game. Stay with me, because when you unlock this secret, you'll never see money or mediocrity the same way again. Type below, I choose clarity over confusion. We live in an age obsessed with wealth, how to build it, multiply it, and keep it. Yet, despite the endless advice, most people remain trapped in cycles of scarcity. They work harder, longer, and smarter. Yet the results seem strangely disconnected from their effort. So what is really going on here? Why do a small fraction of people command most of the world's wealth, while the rest endlessly chase it? To answer that question, we must look not to modern finance, but to the Renaissance, to a man who understood power better than anyone who ever lived, Niccolò Machiavelli. Machiavelli lived during one of the most dangerous political eras in history. Surrounded by betrayal, warfare, and shifting alliances, he learned a brutal truth. Success, whether political or financial, is not a product of luck or morality. It is a result of strategy, foresight, and control over human nature. His work, The Prince, wasn't about cruelty for its own sake. It was about clarity. He understood that the world rewards those who can see reality as it is, not as they wish it to be. And that principle, more than any other, explains why some rise to immense wealth while others stay powerless. The truth Machiavelli saw still holds. Getting rich is easier than most people think, not because money is simple, but because human psychology is predictable. The challenge is not external, it's internal. Most people are too emotional, too idealistic, and too afraid of being misunderstood to play the real game of wealth. This is Machiavelli's forgotten law of power. Men sooner forget the death of their father than the loss of their patrimony. Translation: money rules emotion, and those who master the rules of power will always rule the money. Let's uncover how. So now understand Machiavelli's view on power and wealth. To understand wealth, Machiavelli would say, you must first understand power. Because money is not a thing, it's a form of influence. It is not the paper or the digits in a bank account. It is the invisible gravity that bends people, opens doors, silences enemies, and builds empires. It commands respect before it is even spoken of. It does not ask. It arranges. Power, in Machiavelli's view, was the ability to shape reality according to one's will, to bend chaos into order. And in the modern world, money has inherited that throne. A wealthy man does not need to shout. His choices ripple through society like invisible decrees. The currency of our age is not gold, but control over time, attention, and opportunity. In The Prince, Machiavelli outlines a world where success belongs not to the most virtuous, but to the most adaptable, those who combine cunning with courage. He writes, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." This line, stripped from context, is often read as an invitation to cruelty, but Machiavelli was not celebrating tyranny. He was diagnosing the mechanics of human nature. He understood something most people refuse to accept. That fear is consistent, while love is conditional. People's loyalty shifts with emotion, but fear, or rather, the respect born of strength, endures. Translated to modern terms, certainty creates control, and control produces wealth. Every wealthy person, whether a CEO, an investor, or a founder, understands this intuitively. They don't chase validation, they control value. They don't seek to be liked. They seek to be indispensable. Their reputation is not built on charm, but on utility. They make moves not to please others, but to position themselves, to sit at the intersection where power flows and decisions are made. Machiavelli divided the world into two kinds of people. Number one, those who seek to act. Number two, those who wait to be acted upon. The same division exists in wealth. The rich are active players. They design systems, shape incentives, and move resources like pieces on a board. They understand that the economy is not a moral arena, but a chess match of motives. They read people, anticipate moves, and make strategic sacrifices when needed. The poor, on the other hand, are reactive. They wait for opportunity, permission, or fairness. They look for signs of approval from systems designed to keep them docile. They mistake compliance for virtue and patience for morality. And so they become spectators in a game that rewards only the bold. Machiavelli believed that human nature rarely changes. People are driven by self-interest, fear, and the desire for security. Once you accept this, you stop moralizing about success and start engineering it. You stop believing that wealth is distributed according to merit and begin to see it as a reward for strategic positioning, for being in the right place, with the right leverage, at the right time. That is where wealth truly begins, not in effort, but in perception. It is not about working harder, but about seeing differently. The rich see systems, the poor see struggles. The rich read incentives, the poor read instructions. The rich understand that behind every market, every institution, and every hierarchy lies one eternal truth. Someone benefits from the structure and someone serves it. To get rich, you must learn to see the world the way Machiavelli did, not as a playground of fairness, but as a chessboard of motives. Every move you make either increases or diminishes your leverage. Every relationship is an alliance or a liability. Every decision either serves your sovereignty or surrenders it. And once you begin to see that, once you trade innocence for strategy, wealth ceases to be a mystery. It becomes what Machiavelli always knew it to be, the natural outcome of power understood and power intelligently applied. The brutal simplicity of getting rich. Getting rich, contrary to what most believe, isn't complex. It's brutally simple. The steps are few, but the emotional cost is high. It requires the one thing most people avoid: clarity. Clarity cuts through illusion, the comforting myths about fairness, luck, and doing the right thing. But that clarity comes with a price. Once you see how simple wealth really is, you can never again hide behind excuses. You realize that most people don't fail because they lack opportunity. They fail because they refuse to play the game consciously. The mechanics of wealth follow the same cold logic Machiavelli observed in politics. Those who understand leverage, act boldly, and adapt ruthlessly rise, while those who wait for permission vanish into obscurity. 1. Focus on leverage. In Machiavelli's world, a prince's survival depended on leverage, his alliances, his soldiers, his control of territory and narrative. Without leverage, even the most moral prince was powerless. With it, even the most flawed ruler could command loyalty and shape nations. In our age, leverage takes new forms: capital, knowledge, and networks. They are the modern equivalents of armies and castles. They allow one person's decision to move mountains, while another's lifetime of labor barely shifts a stone. The poor trade time for money. The wealthy trade money for time. The poor obey systems. The wealthy build them. That is the first principle of Machiavellian wealth. Control the leverage, or be controlled by it. A single investor can influence a company's destiny with a single keystroke. A creator with a loyal audience can rewrite cultural narratives overnight. A founder with proprietary knowledge can reshape industries. None of this is luck. It's structural power, and structure always beats effort. Most people think hard work is noble. Machiavelli would disagree. He would say, hard work without strategy is servitude. The true Machiavellian doesn't strive harder. He positions himself where small actions produce large effects. To gain wealth, therefore, is not to work endlessly, but to acquire leverage, to build a position from which the world begins to work for you. 2. Calculated boldness. Machiavelli admired those who acted boldly, even when uncertain. He saw that hesitation was the death of potential. He wrote that fortune favors the audacious, those who strike when others freeze. Fortune is a woman, and if you wish to keep her under control, you must beat and batter her. The phrasing is harsh, but the principle is timeless. Fortune rewards aggression, not timidity. Luck is not a divine blessing. It is a consequence of courage meeting timing. Every self-made billionaire, every revolutionary founder, every great strategist shares this trait. They act before conditions are perfect. They take calculated risks, not reckless ones. They understand that the safest place is often the most dangerous because it keeps you invisible. The average person fears loss more than they desire power. They cling to the illusion of security, never realizing that comfort is just a slower form of decay. Machiavelli would call it what it is, a refusal to confront reality. The world belongs to those willing to be uncomfortable in pursuit of control. Boldness, then, is not just a personality trait, it's an economic principle. Without decisive action, all knowledge decays into regret. 3. Manipulating circumstances without corruption. Machiavelli's brilliance was not in cruelty, but in adaptability. He taught that reality bends to those who understand its rules. The same is true in markets and in life. If you can anticipate trends, read incentives, and interpret human motives, you don't need to cheat. You simply position yourself where value will naturally flow. This is the difference between manipulation and mastery. The manipulator forces outcomes. The master aligns with inevitability. Consider the modern examples. Entrepreneurs who exploit inefficiencies before anyone notices. Investors who buy during panic and sell during euphoria. Founders who use influence rather than brute force to secure loyalty and capital. All of them are Machiavellian in essence. They play the structure, not the sentiment. They adapt faster than the environment changes. For them, wealth is not a chase. It is a consequence of positioning. Getting rich is brutally simple because it's predictable. The rules haven't changed in 500 years. Number 1, see clearly. Number 2, act decisively. Number 3, adapt quickly. Number 4, build leverage. Number 5, repeat. The hard part isn't understanding the steps. It's silencing the noise of morality, fear, and self-doubt long enough to take them. Machiavelli would say, the enemy of wealth is not ignorance, but hesitation. And the moment you realize that when clarity finally eclipses comfort, you stop chasing luck and begin manufacturing it. Key Machiavellian strategies to build wealth. Now, let's break down Machiavelli's mindset into tangible wealth-building principles. These are not tricks, they're laws of perception and power that turn the invisible mechanics of ambition into real influence. Wealth, in Machiavellian terms, is not earned through luck or virtue. It's engineered through vision, control, and disciplined adaptability. 1. Strategic thinking. A Machiavellian never moves without purpose. Every step is part of a larger game, every silence intentional, every alliance calculated. In The Prince, Machiavelli warns rulers to think several moves ahead, to anticipate betrayal, timing, and consequence. The same rule governs modern wealth. Most people think linearly. They see only what's in front of them. The powerful, however, think in systems. They understand that today's decision will reverberate for years to come. Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter wasn't merely a business move, it was an acquisition of narrative, control over the cultural bloodstream. Jeff Bezos didn't build a bookstore, he constructed the infrastructure of global commerce. These were not gambles, they were multi-move strategies designed to make winning inevitable. The lesson: stop chasing opportunities that merely look profitable. Design a position where opportunity must come to you. True power is not speed, it's foresight. A Machiavellian doesn't rush. He arranges the board so that every possible outcome still benefits him. 2. Power networks. Machiavelli warned that isolation is fatal. A prince without alliances is already defeated. In the realm of wealth, the same principle applies. Your network is your army. Investors, mentors, clients, allies, even rivals. But Machiavellian networking is not built on comfort or friendship. It's built on mutual advantage. Each connection must serve a strategic purpose to expand reach, reduce risk, or secure resources. The wealthy do not collect contacts. They cultivate power structures. To think like Machiavelli, ask yourself, who gains if I succeed? Whose problems can I solve so effectively that I become indispensable? Which alliances multiply my strength instead of draining it? This is not manipulation. It's symbiosis. A true strategist understands that influence is a shared currency. The more people who depend on your success, the safer your empire becomes. 3. Ruthless prioritization. The greatest drain on power is distraction. Every minute wasted, every comfort indulged, every grudge left to fester. These are invisible taxes on your future. Machiavelli believed a ruler must be ruthless, not only with others but with his own weaknesses. He wrote, "A wise prince should never suffer an injury to go unavenged." Translated into modern wealth, never allow inefficiency to survive in your system. If a strategy fails, cut it. If a partner drains your focus, release them. If an investment underperforms, pivot quickly. Most people remain poor because they confuse kindness with effectiveness. They protect their feelings instead of their power. But the path to wealth demands emotional austerity, the courage to prune even what you once loved if it no longer serves the goal. Comfort is the enemy of clarity. Sentimentality is the assassin of success. 4. Adaptation. Perhaps Machiavelli's most profound insight was his metaphor of fortune as a river. When it floods, he said, you cannot stop it. But if you build canals and dams before the storm, you can direct its flow. Wealth behaves the same way. The world changes. Markets crash. Technologies evolve. Empires rise and collapse. The rich don't resist these tides. They anticipate and channel them. When fear spreads, they buy. When the rules shift, they adapt before anyone else even notices. Adaptation, in Machiavellian terms, is the highest form of intelligence. It requires neither moral purity nor reckless ambition, only the willingness to see reality as it is, fluid, unpredictable, and full of opportunity disguised as chaos. During a crisis, the average person clings to the old order. The Machiavellian uses that chaos to build a new one. He doesn't just survive change, he architects it. What are the common misconceptions about getting rich? Despite centuries of knowledge, most people still misunderstand wealth. They cling to comforting myths that keep them poor, myths Machiavelli would have laughed at. His writings weren't about morality or goodness. They were about results. And nothing exposes the psychology of failure more clearly than the illusions we refuse to let go of. Myth number 1. Hard work alone is enough. If effort equaled wealth, construction workers would be billionaires and single mothers would rule the stock market. But they don't. Because wealth has never been a reward for labor, it's a reward for leverage. Machiavelli understood this before capitalism even existed. He wrote that the wise ruler doesn't fight battles personally, he orchestrates them. He doesn't exhaust himself with motion, he directs others with intention. Hard work without direction is not noble. It's a slow form of slavery. The poor grind, the powerful design. We're conditioned from birth to equate virtue with effort, to believe that sweat proves worthiness. But Machiavelli would call that propaganda, the kind used by those in power to keep others obedient. Because the harder you work inside a system, the less time you have to question who built it. The rich don't work harder, they work from higher ground. They understand that 10 hours of clear thinking can outperform 10 years of blind hustle. They control flows of money, labor, and time, while others drown in them. To Machiavelli, this was not cruelty. It was realism. To survive, you must see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. Myth number 2. The world is fair. Machiavelli would tell you, fairness is a story told by the powerless to comfort themselves. The world has never been fair, only negotiable. The idea of fairness is seductive because it offers emotional relief. It lets you believe that effort will one day be recognized, that morality guarantees reward. But the world doesn't deal in fairness. It deals in incentives, leverage, and perception. Those who cling to fairness wait for justice. Those who understand power create it. This doesn't mean becoming cruel, it means becoming capable. When you stop demanding fairness, you start engineering advantage. You stop complaining about systems and begin learning how to use them. The rich know this instinctively. They lobby, they network, they influence. They don't play by the rules. They position themselves near the people who write them. For Machiavelli, fairness was never the metric of virtue. Outcome was. A ruler's duty was to remain effective, not pure. In wealth, the same truth applies. To rise above the masses, you must abandon the illusion that justice governs outcomes. The world rewards precision, timing, and courage, not tears about fairness. Myth number 3. Emotions lead to wise choices. Money and emotion are eternal enemies. Fear makes you sell too soon. Greed makes you buy too late. Pride blinds you to risk. Hope delays the necessary loss. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must appear compassionate and moral while remaining cold and calculating within. To lead and to prosper, one must act from reason, not emotion. Wealth follows this exact law. Detachment is power. The poor treat money as survival, every decision charged with emotion, anxiety, and identity. The rich treat money like a game, abstract, mathematical, strategic. They understand that emotional attachment clouds perception. To them, money is not personal, it's positional. When markets crash, the emotional sell in panic. The rational buy in silence. When opportunities shift, the emotional freeze in doubt. The rational adapt in seconds. Machiavelli would call this emotional discipline the highest form of cunning, the ability to appear passionate while remaining untouched by passion, to feel without being controlled by feeling. That is why detachment, not desire, builds empires. The calm mind outlasts the loud heart. So now, how to apply these lessons ethically. Machiavelli is often accused of promoting manipulation, but his real lesson was awareness, the courage to see the world without illusion. He never told men to be evil. He told them to be awake. Most people are prisoners of wishful thinking. They believe the world rewards kindness, that effort guarantees success, that fairness governs outcomes. Machiavelli shattered that illusion. He exposed reality as it is, governed not by morality but by motives, power, and perception. To apply his laws today, we must blend strategy with integrity. Because pure cunning corrodes, but naive goodness is suicide. The true path lies in lucid morality, using wisdom without losing your soul. Strategy number 1. Strategy without corruption. You don't need to lie or cheat to be Machiavellian. You only need to understand incentives. Most people misunderstand manipulation. They assume it means deceit. But Machiavellian strategy begins not with deception, but with design. It means structuring the game so that truth itself serves your purpose. Consider the skilled negotiator. They don't deceive, they anticipate needs. They understand that people reveal their priorities through silence, not speech. So they listen, calculate, and then speak only when advantage is guaranteed. Or the strategic investor. They don't exploit panic, they predict behavior. They know that markets are collective psychology, that greed and fear rise in predictable waves. So they act when emotion clouds everyone else's reason. Or the visionary entrepreneur. They don't manipulate, they architect. They design systems that align interest and outcome, where helping others naturally expands their own power. This is what Machiavelli meant by wisdom. The art of seeing through appearance to the structure beneath. Being Machiavellian is not about cruelty. It's about clarity, about acting with awareness in a world that rewards blindness. Strategy number 2, win-win power. The most sustainable form of power isn't built through dominance, but through alignment. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He warned rulers that cruelty and fear could control the people, but only for a time. True stability came when the people had no reason to conspire against their prince. In wealth, the same principle applies. If others benefit from your success, they will defend your power rather than attack it. A Machiavellian thinker builds empires that feed many hands. He turns competitors into collaborators, employees into believers, customers into evangelists. He ensures that his growth is their gain. This is not moral rhetoric, it's strategy. Alignment neutralizes resistance. If everyone profits from your rise, no one plots your fall. In the modern world, this is the difference between short-lived schemes and lasting prosperity. Scammers make money once. Strategists make money forever, because their victories uplift others in the process. To create win-win power is to understand that control achieved through fear is fragile, but influence earned through mutual benefit becomes unshakable. Strategy number 3, long-term versus short-term power. Machiavelli observed that the most dangerous rulers were not the loudest. They were the most patient. Short-term manipulation creates enemies. Long-term strategy builds empires. The true Machiavellian is content to wait years for the right moment. He doesn't chase applause, he prepares inevitability. He plays games of endurance, not excitement, understanding that in the slow rhythm of power, timing is everything. This is the rarest virtue in wealth building: patience. The ability to think in decades while others panic in days. Real wealth is not found in quick profits, but in position, in the quiet control of systems that generate results long after the creator is gone. Warren Buffett once said, "The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient." Machiavelli would have smiled, because that is power in its purest form, foresight weaponized through time. To build lasting wealth, stop chasing results and start building foundations. Think like a ruler fortifying a city, walls strong enough to withstand chaos, strategies that outlive the storm. Getting rich is not a mystery. It's not reserved for the chosen few or the morally gray. It's a game, a Machiavellian game of power, foresight, and decisive action. Most people lose not because the game is rigged, but because they refuse to learn the rules. They hope instead of strategizing. They moralize instead of moving. They react instead of positioning. The world doesn't reward virtue. It rewards vision. It rewards those who act boldly when others hesitate, who plan while others dream, who see through illusion into the hidden machinery of cause and effect. Wealth, like power, flows to those who master themselves first. Because the greatest empire to rule is the one within your own impulses. Machiavelli wrote, "The one who adapts his conduct to the times will succeed, and likewise, The one who fails to do so will fail. In every age, this truth repeats. The world belongs not to the righteous, but to the rational. Not to those who wait for fairness, but to those who create advantage. So the question is simple. Will you keep hoping for justice in a game that rewards strategy? Or will you learn to play it better than anyone else? Because in the end, as Machiavelli would remind you, fortune doesn't favor the moral, it favors the prepared. If you understand this, comment below. I build systems, not struggles.